Archangel Michael says, this is not a coincidence that your soul keeps feeling drained around the same hour lately. The energy of pain you once cried through is now circling someone else like a heavy chain. They are now walking barefoot on the same road of anguish you once crawled through. This is not karma, it is revelation. Their nights are no longer silent, their days are haunted by flashbacks of what they once thought would never happen to them. The tables have turned quietly, and what was once your burden is now becoming their silent curse. You are being shown this not to mock, not to pity, but to understand the depth of divine justice that moves in silence. They cannot eat in peace, sleep in calm, or breathe without anxiety tugging at their throat. What they once called weakness in you has now settled in their chest like an unwanted ghost. The person who smiled while you crumbled is now crying in places no one can see. They are begging in their heart for the very peace they once destroyed in yours. Their mask is cracking under pressure, and behind their eyes is a world of regret they can no longer escape. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Every message they left unread, every time they laughed at your pain, every night they slept well while you wept, is now playing in reverse. This reversal is not yours to celebrate but to witness. The pain was transferred, not out of vengeance, but out of cosmic balance. Their shoulders are heavy with guilt they never thought they'd carry. You were made to believe you were weak, overly emotional, too sensitive, but now those same tears they dismissed have returned to them multiplied. The world is quiet for them, but their mind is screaming. Their social circle has started shrinking. The calls they once ignored from you, now no one returns for them. They post smiles online, but in reality, their heart is collapsing inward with silent agony. You might have felt like you were being punished back then. But now, the truth is revealing itself in the form of delayed consequences. The same mental cracks they widened in you have started appearing in their own mirror. Type Amen to get blessing 454. Archangel Michael says, Heaven watched how you broke down quietly and rose silently. You were not forgotten, you were recorded. Now the same sky watches their sleepless hours in complete stillness. They are trying to hide it. But even the strongest walls collapse when the foundation is guilt. You're not imagining their recent distance, they are avoiding your light because it burns the lies they used to breathe. What they thought was strength in hurting you was only the beginning of their downfall. And now, the silence they used to punish you is suffocating them in return. The clock hasn't stopped ticking since the day they saw you survive. What once seemed like your weakest moment has now become your armor. And what was their proudest betrayal is now the source of their sleepless shame. The same emotional breakdown you hid under blankets, they're now feeling behind closed doors. Type Amen to get blessing 656. This pain they are feeling is not a punishment, it's a mirror. They are seeing the version of themselves they never thought would exist. You once begged for closure, now they are begging for relief. Don't be surprised if they reach out soon, not with clarity, but with confusion. They want to speak, but they don't know how to confess to what they once denied. The words are stuck in their throat, just like yours once were. They thought you would never recover. But now it is their stability falling apart. They're reading old conversations trying to find signs, but what they're really searching for is mercy. The same fear that made you question your worth is now chasing them in waves. The same tears you wiped with trembling hands are now pouring from their eyes with no comfort in sight. Their world is now the replica of your past torment. Type Amen to get blessing 121. Archangel Michael says, some hearts need to be broken to understand the value of the ones they shattered. The one who caused your chaos is now drowning in it. Their laughter has turned to silence, and their pride has turned to begging. They can't eat like they used to. Their chest tightens out of nowhere. They now understand what emotional paralysis feels like, the same paralysis they called drama in you. They scroll through memories with eyes full of tears. What they see now isn't a loss, it's a lesson. You were the lesson dressed as a blessing, and they misread the entire book. They can't escape what they feel. Their soul is screaming in a language they don't understand. You are no longer a person to them, you are now the echo of every regret. Type Amen to get blessing 717. Their daily routine has changed, not physically, but emotionally. They start their day thinking of you and end it wondering how they let you go. You're not haunting them, you're healing through their unraveling. The loudest moment in their day is when they hear nothing at all. It's in that silence they remember your voice, your patience, your cries. The mental torture they once overlooked has now parked itself in their mind like a tenant. They drink more now, laugh less, and pretend harder. They wear guilt like a perfume, hoping no one notices the stench of their past. You may never see their breakdown, but the universe has front row seats. Don't let their silence fool you. Behind their controlled voice is a storm. Behind their composed smile is a shattered heart begging for your forgiveness. Type Amen to get blessing 848. You are no longer in the darkness. You are now the light exposing their shadows. They fear seeing you rise because it reminds them of how low they pushed you. Their hands that once rejected you are now trembling with apologies they cannot form. Their pride is a cage, and inside it, they are trapped with the memory of every time they chose to hurt you. You were their test, they failed. They whisper your name in moments of anxiety. They don't call it missing you, they call it sleeplessness. But the truth is, your name is still a prayer in their pain. They visit places you used to love, hoping to find pieces of you. But all they find is the emptiness of their own decisions. The ache in their heart is the echo of what they lost. Type Amen to get blessing 969. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Archangel Michael says, do not interfere. This part of their journey is sacred and personal. They must go through it to grow. They must feel every ounce of what they once denied in you. They must taste their own cruelty in silence. What is happening is not your revenge, it is divine correction. You are not watching this because you're bitter. You are watching this because you were chosen to rise where they fell. Your healing has become their lesson. They never thought they'd be the ones breaking. But now they are, piece by piece, day by day. And the weight of your name is what pulls at their heart each night. Type Amen to get blessing 303. You don't need an apology anymore. Life has written it for you. Their tears have become your closure. You've healed enough to see this without reacting. You've grown enough to not smile at their pain. But you are wise enough to know, this was never random. The universe waited for the right moment. And now that moment is here. They are finally feeling what you felt. Let them face it. Let them wrestle with it. Let them become the version of themselves they never dared to meet. Type Amen to get blessing 525. Their body looks the same, but their soul is collapsing. They dress up in courage but wear regret underneath. Every compliment they receive now feels like a lie to their own ears. They told people they were fine. But they weren't. They aren't. They're crumbling beneath the weight of their actions. They think of you more often than they admit. You are the story they cannot tell and the guilt they cannot escape. Their life is now playing the soundtrack of what they once silenced. Even if they surround themselves with others, the loneliness follows. Because no one can replace what they lost when they broke your spirit. No one can hold them the way your loyalty once did. Type Amen to get blessing 111. They're going through the same emotional collapse you once survived. Their body is healthy, but their spirit is exhausted. Their mind is now home to thoughts they never imagined they'd have. Their ego is starving, and their pride is bleeding. This is not just heartbreak, it is soul-crushing truth. And they know now, they pushed away their only shelter. Archangel Michael says, you are not their punishment, you were their chance. And what they threw away has now become what they crave. Let them feel every second of this lesson. Do not reach out. Do not go back. Stand where you are, stronger, calmer, wiser. Because this, too, is part of your reward. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Their silence now screams louder than any words they ever spoke to you. In the past, they used your quiet tears as validation of their strength. But now, their own silence is their enemy, it's eating them from the inside. They think of calling you but hang up before the first ring. They open your pictures but can't look at them for too long. They're haunted not by what you did, but by what they failed to do when it mattered. You offered healing, they returned it with harm. You gave loyalty, they matched it with betrayal. And now, the world has turned, and their own spirit is now sinking in the sea of the pain they never thought would find them. Their eyes are swollen from nights spent staring at the ceiling, praying to rewind time. But time doesn't go backward, it only forces them to walk forward with the weight of their decisions. And that weight grows heavier with every day they try to pretend they Type Amen to get blessing 444. Archangel Michael says, this is not for you to carry anymore. Their burden is their own. Their healing will not come by your hands, it must come from their own brokenness. They have to live with the truth that they traded gold for gravel. That in trying to silence you, they only buried themselves. The very mind they once used to manipulate is now becoming their mental battlefield. They now overthink every word, just like you once did. Every delay, every pause, every unfamiliar silence feels like rejection to them. This is the mirror they refused to look in when you stood in front of them, shattered and pleading. They once found joy in your weakness. Now, they're terrified by their own. They used to walk with confidence while you collapsed under emotional weight. But now, their footsteps are uncertain, their laughter forced, their strength nowhere to be found. Type Amen to get blessing 989. They are trapped in a loop of what if and if only. They replay conversations hoping to find an excuse to believe they were right. But there are no excuses left, just truth and its consequences. Their relationships are falling apart. They can't connect, they can't trust, they can't rest. Because the wound they gave you now bleeds inside them in silence. Every fake smile is an exhausting lie. Every attempt to move on is interrupted by memories of how you stayed when you had every reason to leave. They now understand the kind of love they destroyed. They wish they could go back to the moment they dismissed your pain. But all they can do now is sit in the same darkness they once left you in. Only now, it's colder. And no one's coming to pull them out. Type Amen to get blessing 232. Archangel Michael says, your heart has been restored. Your peace has been returned. And now, the ones who watched you suffer must now learn what suffering truly feels like. This is not about revenge. This is about the scales balancing, the truth rising, and souls being reshaped. They are being refined through the same fire they once threw you in. Your name now echoes in their solitude. It hits them in their weakest moments, in the bathroom mirror, on their morning walk, through half-written text messages they'll never send. You are their unfinished sentence. They now crave the patience you once gave freely. But that chapter has closed. Now, they must face every consequence like you faced every silent tear. Type Amen to get blessing 666. They walk with regret stitched into their shadow. They see you glowing and it breaks them. Because your glow reminds them of the light they dimmed. Every song reminds them of you. Every quiet moment becomes a doorway back to the past they cannot rewrite. You were the calm in their storm, but they chose to fight you instead of holding on. They now scroll through your life from afar. They want to reach out, but they know it's too late. Not because you hate them, but because you healed. They thought you'd never rise. But you didn't just rise, you evolved. And now, the version of you that exists is too strong to be manipulated again. Type Amen to get blessing 848. Their emotional breakdown is ongoing. But unlike yours, it's happening in secrecy. Because they still have an image to protect, even while their soul is collapsing. They are afraid of being seen in pain. But pain has found them and made a home in their chest. They cover it with jokes, distractions, and noise, but in the silence, the breakdown resurfaces. They wake up with their heart racing. They go to sleep with their stomach in knots. Their energy is low, their mind is heavy, their life no longer feels like their own. They once wished you'd feel what they now endure. But you've already walked that valley, and survived. Now, it's their turn to meet the darkness. Type Amen to get blessing 393. You are the reflection they avoid. Your progress is their reminder. Every step forward you take shines a light on every step they failed to take beside you. They see your growth and it hurts them. Because you grew without them. And that's a wound they can't cover up. They wear your name inside their chest like a wound that refuses to close. They tell people they're over it, but the truth is, they're only now starting to understand what they had. You were once on your knees, praying for peace. Now they're on theirs, begging the universe to undo what they did to you. But the page has turned, and the story is no longer theirs to rewrite. Type Amen to get blessing 555. You owe them nothing, not even a reply. Your silence now serves as your loudest truth. Let them feel what they made you feel. Let them walk the road they once forced you down. This breakdown they are going through is raw, real, and relentless. But so was yours. And yet you kept breathing through it all. Let them feel the weight of every ignored message, every broken promise, every dismissed cry. Let them taste the medicine they once handed you with a smile. You don't have to do anything. The universe is doing it for you. And Archangel Michael says, this restoration is your justice. Type Amen to get blessing 191. They thought you were fragile. But now they know you were sacred. They misjudged the value of your heart, and now they're suffering from the emptiness left behind. This isn't about pain anymore. It's about realization. And realization always comes when the damage can no longer be undone. Their chest burns with regret. Their mind is filled with racing thoughts. Their spirit is being reshaped through storms they can't control. Don't offer a lifeline. Don't rewrite history. They must learn, through tears, what you once learned alone. Type Amen to get blessing 212. Their healing will come, but only through acceptance. Acceptance that they broke something they weren't strong enough to carry. And now that it's gone, they can't stop searching for it. Your face appears to them in dreams. Your voice echoes when they are most lost. You were never forgettable, you were unforgettable. They used to fear you'd never leave. Now they fear you'll never return. And that fear is the consequence of every action they thought would never catch up. You are free now. But they are not. And this breakdown is their teacher, their mirror, and their correction. Type Amen to get blessing 303. They've tried to erase the memories, but the memories have grown roots. They deleted the photos, but they can't delete the feeling. Every time they close their eyes, your presence returns, not as comfort, but as consequence. What they did in a moment is now haunting them every hour. They gambled with your heart, and now they've lost peace in return. This is not punishment, it's a spiritual wake-up call. They now experience the same sleepless nights, the same mental spirals, the same emotional fatigue you once battled. They walk through their days pretending, but the sadness they once called weakness has become their daily reality. Their soul has started whispering your name in ways they don't understand. They walk into familiar places expecting relief, but everything reminds them of what they dismissed. The echoes of your kindness now hurt more than any silence. The smile you gave freely is now the one they search for in every face. Type Amen to get blessing 414. Archangel Michael says, what you survived is now what they must endure. You were never broken, you were broken open, and through that pain, you became light. Now, the same pain has wrapped around their chest like a chain. Their eyes are heavy with unseen tears. Their breath is shallow with invisible panic. And their mind is constantly replaying every time they turned away from your truth. They thought you were too emotional. But now, emotions are the only thing they feel, and they are drowning in them. They were so sure they'd forget you, but now, they can't remember who they were before you. They tell themselves they're fine. But the mirror disagrees. The mask is cracking, and the truth is leaking out from every corner of their soul. Type Amen to get blessing 747. The emotional breakdown they are facing is not sudden. It has been building since the day they watched you walk away and didn't run after you. They thought time would heal what they ignored, but time has only amplified it. They are being called to accountability by forces they can't resist. The same divine justice that carried you through your valley is now guiding them through theirs. And the walls they once built are now closing in on them. Every time they laugh, the emptiness grows louder. Every time they smile, it's a performance for the world, but inside, the stage has collapsed. They are exhausted by pretending. You once begged for answers. Now they're begging for silence in their mind. But there is none. Only echoes of what they refused to feel when you were right in front of them. Type Amen to get blessing 1212. They still check if you've moved on. They still wonder if you're thinking about them. But deep down, they know, it's not their time anymore. The light they ignored is now shining elsewhere. Their heart is not just broken, it's confused. They don't understand how they lost someone who only ever wanted to love them. And that confusion will follow them until they surrender their pride. You were never the problem. You were the answer they rejected. Now they're left solving a life that no longer includes your light. Don't interrupt this process. This is not your war to fight. Let the spiritual forces do what your heart no longer has to carry. Type Amen to get blessing 808. Archangel Michael says, their pain is not your responsibility. You have given enough, cried enough, waited enough. Now it is their turn to walk the storm you once survived. They are battling the very monsters they once mocked in you. And now, no one around them understands their pain the way you would have. They are surrounded, but still completely alone. They wear guilt like a second skin. It itches. It burns. It refuses to come off. They thought they were winning, but all they did was postpone their own collapse. They can't tell anyone the truth, so they suffer in secret. Their body goes through the motions, but their spirit is stuck in the day they lost you. And that day plays on loop in the background of their mind. Type Amen to get blessing 616. They wish they could turn back time, not to avoid the pain, but to rewrite how they treated you. Because now, they understand you were the only one who ever stayed when they had nothing to offer. Their apologies are unspoken but thunderous in their soul. Every act of cruelty has become a scar they can no longer ignore. The mirror now reflects what they tried to bury. They thought they had control. But their own emotions have betrayed them. And now, they feel exposed by feelings they never allowed themselves to acknowledge. This is divine reversal. This is justice without violence. The same hurt they assigned to you has returned home to them. And it is loud, relentless, and inescapable. Type Amen to get blessing 515. They try to distract themselves, but nothing works. Food has no taste. Sleep brings no peace. Conversations feel hollow. Laughter is forced. Life feels empty. They scroll through old messages, wondering what went wrong. But deep down, they know, it was never you. It was their inability to see what was right in front of them. They were given grace in the form of you. And they wasted it. Now they are left chasing peace that used to live in your presence. You don't need to hear, "I'm sorry," anymore. The universe has said it for them, through the language of their emotional unraveling. You have been validated. Type Amen to get blessing 7777. They've started to believe they're cursed. But it's not a curse, it's clarity. Clarity that came too late. You've already walked through the fire. Now they must sit in the ashes of their own choices. And only then will they know the true value of the heart they once bruised. This is their season of stillness. A stillness that holds every word they left unsaid. Every lie. Every betrayal. Every night they chose themselves over your truth. And while they suffer in silence, you must move forward in power. Their breakdown is no longer your burden. It is their new beginning. Type Amen to get blessing 919. Their hands are shaking. Their heart skips beats. Their thoughts run wild. Every part of their body is now experiencing the emotional collapse they once watched you endure without blinking. They used to ignore your messages, now they wait for your updates and hear only silence. They used to think you were replaceable, now they see you were the rarest soul they ever encountered. And no matter how many people they meet, none will ever carry your spirit. They will search, and search, and search, and still be empty. Because what they want is no longer available. You gave your love without conditions. Now they live in a reality filled with conditions they can't meet. Their soul remembers you, even when their pride doesn't. Type Amen to get blessing 313. Archangel Michael says, you must let them break. Because only in their breaking will they find the truth. You are not their healer anymore, heaven is. They'll look for your face in every crowd, but only find reflections of what they destroyed. They'll hear your voice in every silence, but never get to respond. Your absence will teach them what your presence never could. You were the blessing they misused. And now, they must face life without the shelter of your soul. Let the divine timing complete its work. Their mental torture is not your revenge. It is their revelation. And through it, both your healing and their awakening will be complete. Type Amen to get blessing 383.